Actually, when they booted him out, I'm 3 years old. I used to sit in Nixon's lap.
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah.
My dad was, well, that explains a lot. My dad was the commander of the VFW Police and Fire Post in DC, and they did all the building openings, and Eisenhower would send Nixon because he was too busy. And I was 3, and
He babysat.
he babysit.
Maybe that's what's wrong with him, Elon.
That's
But anyway, but have you ever, uh, and what stream did you go to in order to make it happen?
Well, it's second. It's not.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of a secular time. I went to a concert to see somebody that I thought was really good. Stood in line for hours to get the tickets.
And that was gonna be my point, is we do things like that, or go to a football game and stand in line forever, or go to any type of like sporting event and do things like that.
But
But
you're Reagan speak, Ronald Reagan. Yeah.
in the whole scheme of things, did it really matter?
did to me. I was under orders.
Well, different story. Sandy told you. So,
Next one, reading.
but the thing about it is, and Toby preached last Sunday, it was a really good message about Zacchaeus, and he was, and here was the point I think, and we're all familiar with the story, but here's the point I think we miss. Zacchaeus wanted to see him because he had heard good things about him. But here's what we miss in the story. Jesus looked for him too. Yeah, I've read the story numerous times and maybe taught it, 2 or 3 times. And at that point, I had never been brought to my attention, even when I was studying, just never registered. So here's where I went this week with it. Because Christ wanted to see him, did he really have to climb up the tree? Because Christ is going to seek you and find you no matter where you are. And most of us, say it's, let me speak for me. Often when Christ was seeking me, I was trying to run and hide. So, I mean, if he really is seeking you, he's gonna find you, and you can't hide from him. Of course, the story is good because it made it much easier. But the thing is this: how and I don't know how to say it. This is the picture, mind picture. So he had to be a small guy. The Bible says that. Well, and I know the tree he climbed, those sycamore trees, they have low limbs. Uh, so did God make sycamore trees the way he made sycamore trees and able to give Zacchaeus an opportunity? That's where my mind, that's the rabbit trail in my mind. The whole thing is this: Christ will pave your way, and he already has. That's what Blake spoke about Thursday night. But we gotta recognize which road we need to travel, and sometimes we take a wrong turn, or sometimes we take the right turn and get impatient. That's kind of what she said Thursday night. We get impatient and then start doubting. So my whole point, I think, is if it if how do you know it's God's way? How do you know that's the way God paid? Number one, I think you got to pray and seek guidance and try to find, Lord, what do you want me to do in every situation? And if you do that, then I feel like she said when she started that path, no experience, a whole lot less money, doubts came into her mind. But if it's really God, you're gonna be blessed. I find when I feel like I've done something God really wants me to do, I find that peace. And we say the peace that passeth all understanding. It's modern secular society. says, well, it's a feel-good moment. And it probably is a feel-good moment when you know you've, or think you've done something that Christ did set in your way as far as ministry. What we don't understand, I think, sometimes is we as those the population was pretty numerous back then. It wasn't just like a small group. It was millions of people that lived in some of those areas. Christ in his new church, new ways, a new idea, gathered a lot of crowds. Some people were interested, some people were just curious, and some people went just to see him, hopefully to see him stumble. So he said, I told you so. But there were, when we say crowds of people, it's crowds of people. It wasn't, and I hate to use this, Mickey, but like
Yeah.
the people at the music thing, you have to, would not
Yeah.
really considered a crowd,
No.
you know. So it's like crowds of people. So it took an effort in order to even get on the parade route.
Right.
To see him. Small enough. Uh, so, you know, the thing I think is if we go to the extremes that sometimes we go to or through in order to see something, Janet, that you think's important, do we go to those things, those cycle links to find us? Or do we use, well, I told you about it, you're not giving an answer. Sometimes no answer is the answer. Janet, you don't have a problem.
I did, but. It's funny because I was sharing with Roger just a couple of weeks ago, because like, I have an outgoing kind of like personality or whatever, and like if my team, or whatever, then I can be loud. But, but then like if it's something in church, I can be very quiet. So sometimes I question myself, am I holding myself back, or is it reverence? You know what I'm saying? That I was just going.
And you know, and I can't,
And so when you said that, then that's where my brain went.
I can't determine that either. I mean,
That's why.
oftentimes we were that way in the world,
Yeah,
but then in church, we're laid back and reverence. It could be whatever. But I think the thing Zacchaeus went to, well, and bottom line, he wasn't a popular, you know, bottom line, and Christ still saw him. I'm trying to remember back when a few years ago, I said where Fuzzy's beer joint is or was, BJ's now. My grandpa had a gas station there, and so we kind of grew up there. Um, that's when you could work on things. Nothing was on computer. Um, but then when he died and family sold it, uh, and became a beer joint, I saw. I felt really bad after Toby spoke last Sunday. I saw a lot of cars there that I knew belonged to people who claimed that they went to church. They went to tell us last Sunday, well, they were trying to witness to something. Okay, you know, where do we find sinners?
what Pop said about the guy that, here at the church yesterday. We said over here, but like you said, he did something, and you thought, you were here at church. I mean, you are witnessing. You are witnessing. I mean, he's doing what sinners do.
Yeah, I mean, but again,
Doing what Christians do.
but then again,
So if he sees the light in y'all.
was I wrong to judge him because he spoke like that?